In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating a couple different ways to make charcloth. Now, as you hopefully saw, charcloth is really helpful for making a fire with flint and steel. It can catch a spark and then create an ember that can then be blown into flame. So first, I'm going to use what I believe to be is a fairly modern method to prepare charcloth, and I'll talk about a little bit about why I think that as I work on the second type of charcloth. But I'm going to be making charcloth in a tin. So what I have is a steel tin. It's a little bit like a mint tin. This one isn't, but you can use like an Altoids tin. And it is filled with denim. This is just from an old pair of jeans. It's 100% cotton. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this lid and I'm going to put this whole tin in the fire. That is going to cause the cloth to burn without a lot of oxygen. So while that charcloth bakes, I'm also going to prepare some charcloth using a method described in a 1588 English translation of some Italian manuscripts on shooting. The English translator included instructions for preparing tinder for a gunner's tinderbox. So what he described was taking cloth, he specified fustian or old linen, setting it on fire, and then smothering it. This method is very similar to the one described by Dan Beard in the book of Camp Lore and Woodcraft, which was published in 1920. Given that Beard did not discuss baking charcloth in a tin at all, makes me think that this method, the first method that I showed you, did not become common until the last 100 years or so. But I'm not sure of that. That's just what I believe based on what I've been able to find. So I have some old linen. It's pretty worn out because, as I mentioned, linen was specified. Fustian is a cotton linen blend, if you're not familiar with that term. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this linen and I'm going to set it on fire, and then I'm going to place it into this box to smother it. So the downside to this method is that it can give some inconsistent charring. You'll have some areas that are very dark and ready to use, and then some areas that didn't burn quite as much. And so compared to what you'll see, what we get from baked in a tin charcloth, you can see this is a slightly inconsistent product. The benefit to this, though, is that you don't need a metal tin that can withstand a fire. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the tin from the fire and check and see how that charcloth is doing. Importantly, I'm going to remove it from the fire, but I'm going to let it cool before I open it. One, because I don't want to burn myself. And two, because if I allow a rush of oxygen, everything will ignite. So I need to wait until this is cool enough for me to handle to open. So I'm going to go ahead and check on my charcloth now. The tin is cool enough to touch. And it looks like everything has cooked. It's a uniform black. Everything has shrunken up a little bit. And so hopefully this will take a spark. But we're going to have to test that. So there you have two different ways to make charcloth for use with flint and steel. Both produced a tinder that could catch a spark off of flint and steel and create an ember. One is maybe a little bit more old-fashioned than the other, but hopefully one of these two will work for you.